is the T80 Omni, the new standard for high-end self-cleaning robot vacuums. With a host of remarkable features and upgrades, I'm excited to dive into this review and see if it's truly a game-changing product. So let's inspect. You know, a fact is that I already have at home a robot vacuum that I'm very happy with. And when it comes to the dry cleaning, it does almost perfect job. When it comes to the wet mopping, I'm also rather happy, with exception for the situations where it has larger stains which involve sugary liquids, because it spreads the mess around. But Ecovacs have just released the Deebot T80 Omni, which not only tackles the dirt, but promises to leave you spotless floors with just one go. So now we are entering the T80 zone, a robot vacuum which promises to do perfectly good deep cleaning without the hassle, which probably most robot vacuums try to qualify for. There really is plenty to test. As a matter of fact, I'm a bit nervous because I usually try to fit everything within 10 minutes. It's gonna be a challenge this time, and yet I have decided to divide this video into chapters which you can use for fast navigation and pinpoint to whatever you're mostly interested in, or simply sit back, relax, enjoy, and figure out which are the positives and the negatives I have discovered about the latest Deebot. Let's go. Since we started with the wet mopping, let's carry on and see more details. This is a very smart way to deal with dirt, because not only the station is equipped with dirty water tank, but such one is present with the robot itself. Many robotic mops reuse dirty water, spraying grime instead of cleaning. The T80 Omni's Osmo roller continuously washes itself, keeping the mop fresh throughout the entire cleaning session, and due to the very same reasons, I usually was avoiding wet mopping of such kind of messy environments. Looks like the T80 Omni handles this with confidence. Well done! The mop's surface area spans approximately 17.5 centimeters in length and 1.5 centimeters in width, giving plenty of contact with the floor to efficiently clean. And here's the best part, the mop continuously cleans itself in real time, thanks to the built-in water scraper inside the roller structure. Just take a look. As the mop spins, each point of the mop passes over the scraper, ensuring that used water is removed from the mop surface, and in addition, 8 tightly packed water nozzles continuously replenish the mop with clean water, further ensuring that it stays fresh and clean throughout the entire cleaning process. With about 200 RPM, here we essentially talk about cleaning while scrubbing, which brings the deep, efficient and thorough clean. Whenever we talk about spilled coffee, sauces, or everyday dirt, the Osmo roller lifts it all in one go, leaving your floors spotless without the need for multiple passes or using any dirty water. The suction power is what I want to present next. It's a huge boost, and its 18,000 Pascal make this Deebot model among the most powerful robots on the market. Combined with the Zero Tangle 3.0 technology, the T80 Omni easily lifts dust, hair and debris without clogging or tangling. I usually perform the rice test, spilling 60 grams of rice and letting the robot do its magic. The smartphone app gives you a choice about covering the clean area once or twice, and you can go for normal, fast or deep cleaning. Here, the results speak for themselves, and the T80 Omni is thus far among the most efficient robots I've ever tested, and it was not even running at its highest suction mode. But efficient suction is just one of the components that define the cleaning performance. Besides the remarkable motor power achieved through a new generation of high-speed brushless motor, there are a number of additional goodies, such as the deep edge and corner cleaning. This is where most robots are going to fail at, and at home we are used to not having clean corners. These are areas that we typically clean with a conventional vacuum. Well, not anymore. The T80 Omni has a technology called True Edge 2.0 Adaptive Edge Cleaning, which follows walls precisely for a truly spotless finish. It won't leave any dust behind in the corners. My usual stress testing with mixture of debris, seeds and flour is yet another evidence that the robot has a lot of improvements over past generations, and here we talk about significant algorithm and performance gains. This involves the anti-tangling implementation, where the side and the main brushes are involved in order to avoid situations where any of them get clogged. Let's do a research and find out how exactly this Ecovacs robot can achieve that much. Well, the positive experience surrounds us from the start. Everything fits within just one box. It is sort of heavy, though. There's a quick start leaflet at the beginning. Get familiar with it and don't cut corners when it comes to prep work. Here's the robot, unusually heavy, and this is a good thing because more weight means more pressure, which results into deeper cleaning, especially about wet mopping. There's a side brush that you need to hook, and we carry on with taking the base station out. This is the unit responsible for auto-emptying the dust box, supplying the robot with fresh and clean water and collecting the dirty water in a separate tank. The setup procedure is quite straightforward. Once you make sure that all the components fit into place, you have to connect to the power, fill in the tank with fresh water. You may want to connect the smartphone app as well, and spending some time to get familiar with the user guide and the manuals makes great sense. I really like the T Omni's wheelbase, and it also has an interesting layout at the bottom, with the rolling brush being closer to the wheels and the web mop setup at the back, the so-called Osmo Roller Instant. I've also prepared a short list with the most interesting tech specifications of the setup. Besides the 18,000 Pascal suction power, we should highlight the dual-edge cleaning technology, the just-mentioned self-cleaning roller mop, the tangling-free main brush, the 3D structural light sensor, the DToF laser module. There are anti-drop sensors, the dust box has reasonable capacity, the main station is taking care of most of the self-cleaning procedures, and there is of course a functional smartphone app. So the specs, I would say impressive. They're very well matching the high-end nature of the robot, and you have seen with your own eyes the effectiveness of the dry and the wet cleaning, and they're both just a small part of the showdown, because I'm about to continue with testing, and just like most other tech companies lately, Ecovacs are also catching the AI train because of the navigation, which we are about to thoroughly check now. On the top there is no sensor setup because they integrate something better with the Deebot T80 Omni. Here on the front we have a combination between a light sensor, an AI camera and DToF laser sensor, which is a lot more precise than the regular LiDAR. And these three combined, together with a few other sensors, are representing the navigation and obstacle avoidance system, which I would like to demonstrate now. While you're observing and analyzing the navigation capacity of the robot and probably admire its accuracy, I'm about to explain the reasons. Having DToF, the abbreviation meaning direct time-of-flight laser, uses a single pulse of light and measures the exact time that it takes to return, like a laser rangefinder. It is faster, more advanced and more accurate than LiDAR setups, which most current robot vacuums deploy. Combined with a camera with AI analysis, this seems to be a strong enough setup to say that it is among the most precise navigation systems out there. Not only it avoids obstacles such as cables, socks and toys on the ground, but it also looks reliable enough to have the confidence that it will make its way back to the station in almost any kind of scenario. If you'd like to take a closer look at the mapping, then let us check the smartphone app. It is called Ecovacs and lets you control and manage the T80 Omni, as well as any prior models that are smart-based and released by Ecovacs thus far. Of course, multi-floor maps can be stored. You can edit, adjust, select no-go zones or clean-only zones, monitor the battery life, adapt features according to your needs, and so on. Should you need to enable or disable the carpet care mode, this is a few taps away, and I'd recommend keeping it on all the time because it guarantees powerful deep cleaning of carpets and prevents the mop activation. There's a robot advanced settings configuration module where you can have control over the sequence, priority areas and carpet detection sensitivity. The app is where you're going to receive the firmware updates too. Oh, and control over the home station, something we somehow neglected thus far. But its importance is huge, because it's namely the subsystem guaranteeing up to 90 days hands-free operation for the robot. Once the cleaning is over, it goes back, parks, and the dustbin gets automatically emptied.
Start charging. About to start auto empty. You might hear a little noise.
This is where the freshwater tank of the robot gets its refills and the dirty water is being dumped to. And because it sometimes can be noisy about self-emptying tasks, you can configure quiet hours via the app. Speaking of noise, here's what my tools measure in regular room environment. The Deebot T80 Omni is rather quiet unless you run it at its maximum suction mode. And hey, let's not forget about the battery performance, because the new battery technology used is part of the reasons why A, autonomy working times are fantastic, and B, why the suction power can be that strong. This robot is no stranger to the top performers in its class, and this is enough for cleaning a large house or a huge apartment. The results, of course, vary depending on the cleaning mode, the floor type, the suction power setting, and so on, but is definitely on the good side. So, are we ready to talk about the drawbacks? I sure am. There is no drain kit for constant water supply, no control buttons for the main station, and slightly bigger capacity for the dustbin, and the water tank would have been nice. In the end, this is a very serious contender about becoming one of the most respected robot vacuums of 2025 and or one of the best in its price niche, around and just a little bit above $1,000. And I think we can all agree that in the past months it's evident that there is a very serious price increase of most of these self-emptying and self-washing robot vacuums. And yes, they do bring some interesting new features, some of them very extravagant, not as useful, maybe some of them are just gimmicks. With the T80 Omni, obviously Ecovacs focus mostly on decent performance, very reliable navigation, and decent build quality, because the way this robot feels gives me very positive vibes about high expectations in regards to longevity. Obviously, still too early to talk how it performs in the long run, but maybe at the moment you watch this video, there would be enough of good, valuable feedback in the comment section below the video, so I very much recommend you to take a look there. If you're interested in buying this model or a similar one, sure, I'm going to post the link and more information in the video description area. Just let me take a moment and remind you that I know that these tech reviews can sound super exciting, but this video is not meant to make you buy something. Furthermore, before buying any kind of tech that costs that much money, ask yourself the question whether you need it and whether you are about to use it on a regular basis. Concerning myself, I feel I can see the next primary robot vacuum cleaner at home, and of course would love to answer any questions that you might ask in the comments below this video. Thanks a lot for watching this episode. I'm the Tech Mishka. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!